Hey everybody, Dr. David Evans here. I am so excited about my homeboy, my main man. This is my dude, y'all. I'll be bragging on our relationship for like the last 20 years. My main man, James Lee, he pushes me. He's the secret that helps me to believe in the best version of me in this Pic Network. We talk every day. We went to school together, Bible college, frat brothers together. This is one of my brothers right here that I love. He's part of my fingers, y'all. I got 5 fingers on the hand. This dude is one of my fingers. I love him so much. He's been rolling all day, y'all. He's going to be on one of our networks on the Pic TV Network, the Champion Solutions. And my main brother is a certified firearms professional. He's a married man who's a family man. He's just a gift to anybody's life to have a James Lee as a soldier you on your family. Hey Doc, I know you've been running all day, Doc. Maryland University, man, trying to pull on you, man. You got to stay on this side of the bridge. So how did it go today?
It went good. It went good. I was the special guest on the Honorable Alexander Williams podcast. He has a podcast called Perspectives on Justice. In fact, there's an entire building named after him on the University of Maryland's campus. It's called the Center of Law, Justice, and Ethics. So I was there on as a special guest on the gun control segment. So there were 2 people who were anti-gun, and I was the pro-gun voice and perspective on the topic.
Amazing, man. To be one of my best friends, for life, and to have you to be a representative for the African American community, man, to be a certified counselor, with Wellness Wednesdays and doing what you do with firearms, man, to be a Christian man of God in ministry, but also to help people. And when I say help people, you're doing it from a professional standpoint. Whenever you be on Maryland University campus to do anything, that's an honor, man. That's big and worth talking about, especially in the midst of COVID-19. To be able to participate and to do what you do that you love in that atmosphere. I know it was a special honor.
Yeah, it was, and they, certainly big credit and shout out to them. They had all of the pandemic protocols in order, from temperature taking among the production team and myself, hand washing. We were masked, and each of the panelists were at their own stations at a social distance. It was definitely an honor for me to be Black and to give a face and a voice for Black people, to, again, normalize the fact that hardworking people of faith that have families, that are responsible, can own and should own guns like everyone else, and that it should not be okay that racist over criminalization of the laws are primarily where there are large groups of Black and indigenous people of color. That shouldn't be okay. So that's why the merchandise, I rolled out a merchandise line in my avatar right there. It's the red, black, and green Pan-African colors in the letters, and it says normalize the Second Amendment. In other words, make it okay for Black people to have the right to defend themselves, or to hunt, or to be in sports competition with firearms.
Yeah, and us talking every day, man, like we do and a lot of people don't understand. And you even taught me that we don't live. This is not a Christian nation. You educated me on that, and you also informed me that we always have to be 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 prepared before something pop off. And I was talking to you about a situation that took place when somebody broke in my car right outside my home, and when the police came 2 in the morning, they said, they get break-ins like this all the time, and he was saying just leave the doors open, because if they want something, they're going to get in there, and then I called you and you was like, yeah, that's what they feel, because you told me and taught me that the way that things are going today, before the police get there, if something serious happen, it can be too late. Talk about that, bro.
Well, at the end of the day, the foundational principle is this: we live in a violent society. Um, and if violence hasn't come your way, consider yourself extremely blessed and fortunate. But the fact of the matter is, violence is prevalent. Matter of fact, let's go back. America was built on violence. It,
Wow.
it was built on the fact that there were indigenous people here who were violently massacred and their land was taken from them. And then Africans were enslaved and trafficked via violence and brought here. So the very foundation of America is violence. And so if you start up a way, you're going to end up a way. So it started violent and it has continued violent. And especially toward black people. If you look at Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma, violence. If you look at the church bombing during the pre-civil rights era, violence. If you look at Rosewood, violence. If you look at the Tuskegee experiment, violence toward black people. 1985, when I was a freshman in college, we were in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, when a bomb was dropped on the group Move and blew up uh, their residence or their headquarters right in Philadelphia. So, and that's just violence toward black people from a governmental standpoint. We're not even talking about intermittent violence and criminal violence. So, with that being said, with the premise being that we live in a violent nation, people, citizens, should have the right to be prepared to defend themselves. And I also say that citizens should also have the right not to defend themselves if they don't want to defend themselves. So, as a certified firearms instructor, as a professional prepper, I simply educate, teach, and train the people that do want to exercise their freedoms to protect themselves.
That's so important. It's so many people, and you travel to different events, such as you were last month with one of our other colleagues in at the Dulles Airport facility, the expo, and you couldn't get in. It was unbelievable when you called me and said, Evans, we can't get in. So there were literally 3 to 4 to 5,000 people outside Daco on the parking lot.
Yeah.
Picture that atmosphere for me.
Yeah. So at gun shows, it was a gun show. At gun shows, they usually host them in like convention centers. And if they're not in convention centers, they're at like fairgrounds. But this particular one was at a convention center. And in the parking lot area, there were approximately 3,000 people filled up in the parking lot. And of course, under normal circumstances, just because I don't do lines, I wouldn't have went in. But definitely during an active pandemic, I wasn't going to be, in that number. The point, though, is that uh, out of that 3,000 um, number of people, it probably wasn't 200 black people out there. And that speaks to, you know, it speaks to a cultural reality that while the numbers of black people, black and indigenous people of color that are more conscious in the fact that they have the right and the dignity of the Constitution to exercise their rights, we're still late to the party.
I was just talking to my neighbor the other day, um, and I got another one of our brothers coming on after you. And he was saying a person was following me. He was following me for like 8 blocks all the way to my house. And I was saying, let me call my man James Lee, though. I said, because he'll definitely take us to school. I think they might follow you, but they won't come in. Um, and we just talked for a minute, and you told me some principles about safeguarding. Um, there was a time when where we live at now, about maybe 9, 10 years ago, people were rashly breaking in houses and doing some things. We talked about Sean Taylor's situation, who we all love, and how his life was taken so soon. We talked about the person who came into the church and shot all those people, and every time I talk to you about something like that, you are prepared. Your wife is prepared. Your kids are prepared for anything. You say, I'll handle the business if something come my way. So you're not gonna wait till the police get there and then the crime scene getting there and they putting out everything, and then you're crying outside because the person came in and destroyed everything that you love. I think, when I look at people like you, who's my friend for life, and you educate me on how you took the route of going to be certified. I remember you calling me, man, 3 o'clock in the morning, said, Evans, I'm in the mountains, man. And you're the only African American there in the high mountains, because you want to be educated and you want to be professional in what you do, and that means so much. And I'm honored to have the Champions Solution on the Pic Television Network, where you'll be educating us, you know, um, especially the new generation who already have a lot of firearms, but to use them in a professional way, not to hurt nobody, but to be ready to protect yourself at all times. Um, and man, I just want to jump through this screen and hug you again, and thank you so much for this. All the wisdom you share with me, your $1 million advice to help the Pic Television Network to keep pushing me to get this done, to have a dream when I wanted to give up, the channel that I wanted to to take off, the Black Health um, channel. You were so strong and adamant about keeping that channel. You said, Dave, Dr. Evans, we gotta have that Black Health channel. And I said, why we got to have that, James? You said, man, because of cholesterol, diabetes, high blood pressure, cataract. You said, we're in trouble. Doc, just talk about a little bit of why you were so convicted on having that Black Health channel that we have on our Pic Television Network.
Well, basically, it's a no-brainer. For as long as this country has existed, black people have been disenfranchised, and as a result, have not had access to health education, have not had access to health information, have not had access to healthy food sources like other communities do. And as a result, um, Black health, both physical and mental health, has gone largely neglected. And if you have an opportunity and you have a platform to be able to uh, provide information as well as access to people who are left behind, who don't have access, by all means, it's only right. It's only right to do it.
I hear you talk about that subject, man, about food and how in our neighborhoods we have Popeyes, we have McDonald's, Crackdonald's, we have the Chinese place, man, with the fried wings, mumbo sauce, man, and high cholesterol foods, Wendy's. And when I go across the bridge, I see a food place called Whole Foods, and I see True Greens. And it's so sad that I got to go all the way across the Wilson Bridge to go to Alexandria, Virginia, to get me a beautiful salad that's fixed and it has no fatty acids in it, no no fat in it. You got some grilled chicken or you got some salmon. That's the only two things they have. Everything else is fresh salads there. And then I go to eat at True Foods. I have to go to all the way to um, Boston, over by Rosslyn, Virginia, to get the meal that the doctors eat that has no pork, that has no salt, just fine quality foods. But when I come right where I live at, James, we got, again, McDonald's, we got the Kentucky Fried Chicken, we got Popeyes, we got all the types of Chinese foods. We got all the pizzas you want to eat, stuff that's clogging up our arteries, stuff that's taking us out real soon. Even we got places like Levi's, but you got string beans out of the can. You got food that's processed and stuff that's killer food, man. It's just so sad that we grew up through the 80s and the 90s, and now we're in the year 2000s. We've been on Earth a long time, and we can open our eyes and see how stuff is deliberately planted in our community to take us out. And it's so sad, bro. It's so sad, man.
Yeah, well, there's a specific name for what you described. We call it two things: food apartheid and food deserts. So, what food deserts are and what food apartheid is when, as a result of the wealth gap, uh, at risk communities don't have access to healthy and nutritious food sources. And the problem, or the many problems that exist because of not having that kind of access, affect everything like prenatal care and the unborn child. It affects the development of the child in the womb. It affects early childhood development. And we already know that there's certain foods that are called brain foods. So if during your formative and developmental years you don't have access to brain food and healthy, nutritious food sources, you're now more susceptible to physical health conditions and mental illnesses. And then there is a direct connection between felony crime and education. So if you have, again, Black and Indigenous people of color in at risk communities that don't have access to healthy and nutritious food sources, there's a good chance they're going to underperform in school. And if they underperform in school, there's a good chance that that lack of education will lead them to bad choices and felony crime. So it's almost a strategic way of ensuring that you can fuel the pipeline to prison, and you can start pretty much in the womb.
I can talk to you all night, man. We got to say something for the champion solution, man. Because you're a walking genius. This brother, I love him so much. He has a channel, a whole channel on the Pic Television Network, and James Lee is the asset to our television network. One of my right hand men on building this network. So many times again, he pushed me, and I say, man, can't do this. He said, yes, you can. He said Oprah Winfrey started with a little bit, Tyler Perry started with a little bit, and then Pic started with a little bit. And look where they are now. Don't give up because you're small. Keep going. And when God blesses it, it can grow even more. And we're seeing the evolution of that take place. James, I love you, man. I'm gonna jump on to another brother who's on, Ivan Campbell. He's on for a minute. You can hold on. I'm just gonna switch scenes and bring him in if you want to listen in. Everybody's watching me right now. You in the Pic Television Network. We're so happy tonight. I wanted to just bring in another colleague of mine, another soldier of mine, and this is Ivan Campbell coming in tonight. Y'all, this dude is he's another walking genius. He is the one behind the scenes that brings the operation. I love him so much. This man right here, we were in DC TV shooting a program early in the year, or last year, but late last year, I guess around November. And after we shot together on the scene, we went into the back, and I was doing a little interview. You know how I talk. He said, one day you're gonna have your own. I said, man, I've never been on Tyler Perry show before, but when before. He said, no, you're gonna have your own. And here it is, what the prophecy that this man said has come to pass. This dude is my right hand, y'all. He's my brother. I can he's one of the persons that a brick in the Pic Television Network. Campbell, how you doing, bro?
Always a pleasure, Doc, man. How are things?
Man, it's good, man. Always good to hear you, man. You the hardest working man in show business, man. You always
You
grind.
you in the studio right now making it happen, man. So, I have to step up just to keep up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. I just want to say to everybody, this dude is a blessing, man. His son is my godson, who's the little genius who's running around with a camera right now doing some stuff. you know, um, I want to say thank you, bro, for always being there for me, man, pushing me and giving advice to the Pic Television Network. There's a couple of shows, man, that you and your fiance, when we were talking at the MGM about having together, and we were talking about money management. We was talking about healthy foods. We was talking about uh, working skills for the young people. Doc, just wanted to holler at you, man, and just because you connected not only with the USA, you and your fiance had a vision with the Pic Television Network to go across the water and to bring other people in for their programs and shows. Come on, talk a little bit, brother Cam.
You know, um, just thank you so much for mentioning that. I just want to say that, PIC is so necessary, man, because you're not just talking to the people in Washington, D.C., you're not talking to the people in the United States of America, you're not talking to people in this geographical area, you're talking to people in the world. And with the invention of the internet and being made available to everybody, unfortunately, at the speed is not equal across the board, but you still have access where, people around the world now have access to global libraries, global information. And there's a lot of misinformation, disinformation, misleading information that is being put out on the internet. But at least I can say there's information that people can now receive and make a decision about whether or not they choose to believe it, participate in it, assist on putting out their own content. Pic Television Network provides that platform for people in the Gambia, in Ghana, in Georgia, the country Georgia. You're all over the world to participate and join the conversation, where we don't have to wonder about what's going on the ground. We can hear directly from the people. And this came to me when I was in on Capitol Hill, and a gentleman was starting the African Network. And for the first time, we were able to get content beamed directly from Africa, unedited. It wasn't about kids starving. It wasn't about safaris, about, white folks on safaris. It's about content that was created by Black people on the continent for the local population being beamed into the households around the globe to people in Washington, D.C. So, you know, being able to have a platform to talk directly to people, unfiltered, unedited, without any type of misinformation, misinterpretation, or having somebody translate, interpret for. You're hearing directly from the people on the ground and here, and we're creating a dialogue that we can start to have, because there's confusion regarding the diaspora, there's confusion regarding Africa. People still think Tarzan is real. They still think that that's what Africa looks like. You could be sitting in Zimbabwe right now, in Tanzania right now, in Algeria right now. We don't know where in the world you could be. No one knows where I could be. So the world has become, you know, you could touch it. You can be there. You can be anywhere. And it's networks like Pic and people like you who are doing this thing to bridge the gap. So that's what my vision is that we can be able to connect with our folks in the Caribbean, in South America, Latin America, in Canada and Asia and Africa, and just in real time right now to get the information out to us, between us, amongst us, so we know exactly what's going on, not being filtered through some third, fourth, fifth party, and being dissected in a way that we're not getting the real picture.
Wow. And enjoy our fellowship. And you're brother, man, not half. You're my brother, man.
Without a doubt.
When we bond together, God knits people together in your timeline. Jonathan and David. He knits people. Peter, James, and John. He has people that he knits you with, because relationship ties into destiny. And for those who are watching, this man is one of the seed investors with Pic Television. He sat down with me and his fiance at the MGM, and we talked about this 3 or 4 months ago about building this network. Before the channels got out there, before we even started developing the app, this man was investing in his time and his vision for Pic. And this is one of my right hand brothers. And when you think about where we are now, Brother Campbell, as we build in the music video channel, the music on demand, hot topic show, the home music jam and stage plays, that's entertainment. But we just don't do entertainment. We do education. That's why we have the money management show, the children's homework express program, the business skills one-on-one talk show, life after high school, authors book talk shows where authors can talk about their books, the coaching program for people who does coaching like my wife, spend hours and hours to be trained the right way, the on-demand virtual TV classes. So we have people like Brother Campbell that will come on and talk to you about what's happening in the world. Then we have information about health and food, talk show, right relationships, and mentoring programs. We have a show with learning from life lessons show. We have people talking about their life lessons. We're talking about stars like Taraji. We're talking about stars like Oprah Winfrey. We're talking about stars like Tyler Perry. We're talking about stars who coming on and giving their life stories to give something back to the community, of motivation. We have the working from home skills, because in the time that we live in, people are virtually working from home because the world has changed. Folk want to cash out. They don't want to wait every 2 weeks. They want to get their money today. And we have a lesson on that, and skills and programs about how to work from home from their skills, to home safety tips program, James Lee. Then we have inspiration talk shows, the preachers. So all of these are shows that we're building from 4 perspectives: education, information, inspiration, and entertainment. I think, Brother Campbell, because I grew up on BET, I laughed at Good Times. I laughed at all the programs that came on, and I was great entertainment. But I want more than entertainment. I want to be educated. I want information. I
Hmm.
want inspiration. I want to be a complete, um, holistic African American man. I just don't want to look at television, just laugh and joke and see somebody jump around who's like in another character. Teach me, train me, do something worth my time. And this is what we're going to do on the Pic Television.
That's
We're
why
not
you're
going to
here.
entertain you. We're going to educate you. We're going to inform you, and we're going to inspire you. Go ahead, Bud Cam.
I said, I've been working from home for the last at least 10 years. And, I always had the vision of putting out a book called At Home CEO,
Wow.
because what's interesting is everybody said, oh, you can't work from home. You can't work from home. You're not seriously working from home. You can't make money working from home. Well, last 8 months, everybody's working from home. You know, everybody's working from home. Corporations have realized that, business has continued on. And so for them to say that the people who are handicapped can't work in the company, people who are have any kind of disability, people who are, whatever they were saying couldn't be done, all of a sudden it can be done. You know, corporations are saving millions of dollars by not having people in their office buildings. They're claiming bankrupt, so they're not paying their rent, they're not paying their mortgage, and they have people working from home using up their own internet, using up their own phone lines, using their own electricity, using their own toilet paper, using their own lunch break. Just they're not doing all the things that would cause them to lose money, because we know people go to work. The first thing they do is turn on Facebook and hang out for about an hour and a half, go by the coffee machine, they take a cigarette break. Before you know it, it's 12 o'clock. They turn on the computer and say, oh, I got to go take a break. And they come back at 1:30 because they're running late. They go take a bathroom break after that. So they start working about 2:15 till about 4:15. They start shutting down. They got to go home. They're not getting Corporations not getting no productivity out of folks. Working from home, you get up, you handle your business, you perform your duties, you get it done, you keep it moving. Everybody's working from home. Students are working from home. Online degrees where people say, I laugh at you because you got your degree online. Everybody's now getting their degree online. So the future of being creative, being entrepreneurs, being ingenious about the things that we do and how we go about doing our daily activities is here. And working from home, we have to realize that there's no loyalty for corporations for the employees, but they want the employees to be loyal to the corporation. We have to find creative ways to be loyal to ourselves and work just as hard for the corporation as we would for ourselves to create our own businesses, because small businesses is what keep this economy going. Right now, you have Walmart, you have Amazon, you have Facebook. They're making
Yeah.
trade during COVID, because everybody's ordering stuff online, everybody's ordering food online, everybody, everything we're doing is online. We're not even checking on our neighbors. And so we have
Mhm.
to come up with ways that we can support our local communities. How is it that, we're not able to support our neighbors, but we can support major corporations located offshore with, headquarters here and there, but their major operations are offshore, so they're not paying any taxes? We have to look out for each other, build our local communities, take care of each other, work together, and keep our money in our communities. If you're in a particular part of Minneapolis, Atlanta, New York, keep your money in your particular community, because you have to support your local community. Work together. And once you secure a community, then you can go ahead and when order something from Asia, from wherever else, so be it. But for right now, in this particular environment, it's critical, it's essential that we take care of our local community to make sure that we have the dollar circulating, make sure the person who's growing fruits and vegetables in their local garden is feeding the community. Make sure the person who's available have a bicycle can deliver food to their neighbors. Keep it local. so we can help each other and build on that before we can start looking outside. It's the basic principle of nation building. Your nation is your block. Your nation is your 10 square blocks, is your local city, your state, your district. Build from within and build out so we can actually build together.
Man, I'm so awesome, man. Every time we talk, man, we get so deep in conversations, and we always talk about how we can better our community. And being an African American brother today, um, and having you on the show is a dream come true because you're a part of our dream team. You're one of my right hand men with this vision. And I wanted to say, man, a lot of times, Bert Campbell, we as people in general, not just blacks, whites, Hispanics, Asians, we don't want to share, and when we do share stuff, we don't really take it serious and take advantage of it. I told you about the event that was going on this week with the items at this warehouse, overflow items from Best Buy, Target, Walmart, right in the DMV, and they've been there over there for 5 or 6 years. You said, Doc, where's that? You went over there, man. You purchased some items. You saw the items there. Many of us, we don't want to share that information. We want to keep it to ourselves. And then when we go places like that, we see all of these items in a place that are overflow items from Walmart, Target, Best Buy, all of these places. We try to grab them all to ourselves and we just don't want to share. Why is that mentality out here like that, Bro Campbell? Talk to us, bro.
It's that information was helpful. Thank you. I went and spoke to the management and the staff, and I mean, we're looking at stuff that comes from some of the best corporations in the world, and they're getting the supplies, and those supplies are being made available at 10 cents on the dollar for any investor. If you can buy a $100,000 item for 10 cents on the dollar, it's $10,000. It's a steal. So imagine if you're getting a $4 million house for $40,000. That is just the opportunities there that the products and services from sofas to top of the line lighting to just everyday items are available at basically, pennies on the dollar. So all of this that we're dealing with is a result of what America creates. America creates individualistic mentality. They don't create a community mentality because in a capitalist society, you're only significant if you have the most capital. Whoever amassed the most capital is the most important person. People elected the current president because they said, well, he's a businessman. He knows what he's doing. And no, you know, the when you are in charge, when you're a leader, you do the best for the masses. Unfortunately, we've demonstrated that in a capitalist society, if we're talking about supporting everybody, they say, "Oh, you're a communist or you're socialist." We don't need people dying in the richest country in the world. We should be ashamed of ourselves that we still have hunger, homelessness, poverty. Other people have done it better than us because they live a more communal life. They make sure that they take care of their fellow men and women and children. Even in the church, we go to church today and we see people in the parking lot. They're running you over so they can get home and watch the game. Unfortunately, the ideas and the 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 teachings that we had when we were growing up have disappeared as we got older. In school, we're taught to work independently, and in work, we're taught to work in teams. We have to be consistent. We have to understand that as a society, I'm not competing with my neighbor next door who's the same age and going to the same school. I'm competing with the globe. I'm competing with somebody in Afghanistan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan China, Taiwan, Africa, in South America. We're competing with people around the globe for the same slice of bread. So if we want to be successful, we don't have to look at my neighbor as my competitor. He has to be my partner. And my neighbor needs to be my neighbor as far as my fellow countrymen, Americans. And we work together to make sure that everybody as a country, we lift each other up. They say that a rising tide raises all ships, but the ships that have already sunk, unfortunately, the rising tide not gonna raise them up. So before this ship actually gets underwater, we have to keep all the ships above water, all the people above board, keep all the folks that are in the same place that we're working together with, keep everybody up on equal footing. There's enough to go around. There's no reason why Zuckerberg, Gates, Bezos, together, they have over $1 trillion. But yet we still got hunger, poverty. All that can't stop all the floods and fires that we have going on. There's enough for everybody. We need to share it and share it alike. Because at the end of the day, you came in with nothing, you're going to leave with nothing. But while we're here, make sure that the person to your left, to your right, that you can reach and have the ability to touch and support and help, at least get a warm meal, a warm blanket, and a bed to lay on. We should just be concerned about taking care of our fellow men and women and children in our immediate area. And if we can do better and extend to other areas in the country and eventually overseas, so be it. But this individualistic mentality of I need to be on top, I need to hoard, I need to be the only person that get access. That's going to be faded away because America is at a critical state where we have lost our footing in the world. We no longer have access to. There's not a country that's saying, "Welcome, American, come join us." We're banned. We can't travel. We can't go nowhere. We are looked at as the pariahs of now the world. Make sure that we don't have COVID to infect the rest of the countries and bring disease and bacteria. You know, we're now that country. So we need to start rebuilding from within together as one before we can start reaching back out and helping each other uplift ourselves, get ourselves healthy, be safe is what we need to focus on. And in the process, as we're getting better and healing ourselves, we look to heal others based on the lessons that we've learned and how we can go about and make this world a better place.
I'm so excited when I hear you, man, and I want everybody to know this is one of our right hand people on the Dream Team with the Pic Television Network, connecting people overseas with content and shows to air on our Pic Network. And when we met about 8 years ago, God connected us, and I was at HUD, United States Housing and Urban Development. Brother Cameron was on Capitol Hill, in a lot of big sessions, and we crossed paths, and we were at a big event at MGM, and we've been brothers ever
Doc,
since.
Doc, you mean about 18 years ago?
I'm trying to stay young, man. I'm trying to stay young, man.
Don't show your age by forgetting certain things.
I'm trying to stay young as long as I can. Me and my cat, we eat together, man. We eat on the same plate. We fellowship. We talk, man. This is my right hand brother. Man, let's talk for a minute before I let you go, Doc, about my godson. How he is the little Barack Obama, man, and growing up. I got some Christmas gifts for him already. I'm stacking stuff for him already, Doc. How he's growing so fast. How you were telling me he was outside and doing some type of event. I think at the big march downtown, and people were gathering all around him. Something special he did. Let's talk about my godson for a minute, Doc.
Yeah, he's my light, man. Having a child is one of the most amazing things, and you want the best for your child. So in the process of educating him from home and exposing him to different things, I'm watching YouTube, I'm watching Sesame Street, I'm watching a number of different programs so that I can help educate him, expose him to the world. And what I realize is there's not a lot of programming on any network that reflects my son, an African American, African child who needs to relate to the world in through his own eyes. And that's when talking to you, I said we need to create a network where, he needs to be on have his own channel. And we need to have children educating other children, just playing their daily lives, and so other children can see that. So, just to give an example of the type of dynamic child that he is, we went to um, the march for it was the March on Washington, I believe, and just being present, his presence alone as we walked up. Young lady from the local media walked up to him, was like, started interviewing him. Like, it's okay. I just want to ask him some questions, and it was just amazing. And throughout the day, it was just people just interacted with him in a certain way that he's 5.5 years old. He looks like he's like 8, so he can carry on a conversation to a certain extent, but after talking to him, you realize you're talking to a 5-year old. But nonetheless, he's very articulate, and he was just enjoying the vibe, being present, being himself, dancing. Before you know, he ended up on somebody's Instagram channel, people taking pictures, and I've never taught him this, but we're at the World War II Memorial, and there's a picture of George Floyd, and not knowing what's going through his head, he goes up to the photo, and folks want to take pictures of him, and the first thing he does, his pose is a salute. You know, I've never taught him to salute. I don't know where he got it from, but for whatever reason, he was just saluting at the World War II Memorial, and it just touched my heart because he understood what George Floyd meant, what that moment meant, and our contribution to America. Like, not just America, I think to the globe, as people of African descent, melanated people who, have fought in wars and liberated other folks, but to be in our own country being murdered by those who are paid and with the duty and responsibility of protecting us, you know, you never know these children nowadays, man. They're very, aware. They're in touch with what's going on in society, what's going on in the world, and the things that he does, the things that he says, and it's just it needs to be shared with the world because people see our children and they don't see children, they see adults. When police officers are, treating 10-year-olds and 12-year-olds like they're criminals and putting handcuffs on them, their hands are so small they can't even fit in the handcuffs.
Wow.
They're children. We need to be able to empower our children so they understand that you were not born a slave, your ancestors weren't born slaves, they're stolen. We have a stolen legacy that we need to understand from a continent that is the largest continent on this planet. It's not small like they show it. It's 5.5 times the size of the United States. So it has all the resources in the world. It is the most powerful continent, and we created the alphabet, the almanac, the study of astrology, science, medicine. Our ancestors created that. So everything that is current was stolen from us because we are the foundation on which everything is built on. And now, if you teach that to a child and your child now understands that, the power that you're putting in your child changes the direction of their life forever because they will not see themselves as slaves. They will see themselves as people who are inventors, travelers, creators. We need to, if you take a look at our young people, our, young men and women walking around misrepresenting themselves because they don't know their legacy. If they understood who they were, they would represent themselves better. And we need to do a better job of educating our children about who they are so they can not see that the images that are projected, that doesn't reflect them. Their true history is before you every day in every museum. It's in the tombs, it's in history museums around the globe. Every Madonna and child is black around the globe. Every historical reference of religion, of kings and queens represent our legacy. For our children to understand that and to realize that they are living a lie and they need to learn the history and who they are. So that's the vision that I have, that and my son, he's he's aware, he understands that, he's gathering that, and I'm sharing that with him and exposing him to that little by little. So he's reflecting that, and that's what people see and feel as he is just existing, minding his own bit, just being himself. He was like, they see it in him. Before he was born, people would say that he was special. So, you know, he's living in his true greatness. He's walking in his greatness. He's being 5, acting like he's 50. So, he's a handful. But he's a handful, but he's amazing. And he's just fun to be around.
Yeah, man, that's my godson, man. And every time I see you spending time with him, man, it reminds me of me when I had Steven and Amos, my son.
Hmm.
Steven, he's in Hollywood, California. You talk to him, he's out there with the stars, Jamie Foxx, out there with you name the stars, Steven been with them, in their presence at big events, playing out there, working with them on projects. He just came off of the Billboards Awards with Post Malone. He just got a call to do something on the next big project with J Lo. My son Steven been on tonight's show. He's out there again doing some great things.
And
And
big
you
up to he's
remind
doing
me,
amazing, man. So big up to Steven.
yeah, when I was working with him, man, and growing up, loving him just like you love my godson. And then with Amos, my youngest son, who's a graduate of Carnegie Mellon University, a straight A student from elementary all the way to high school, straight A's, no B's and C's, all the way through. And how when he was graduating from Oxon Hill, the first time in history that um, Harvard University came here and met with me and my wife, said, we don't even come to Oxon Hill. But because Amos made in 1960 on his SAT, we're going to come and see who this Amos Evans is. He had a full ride to Morehouse. They told me and my wife to save your money, go on a vacation, do what you want. All you have to do is bring a pen to Morehouse. And Oprah Winfrey personally had a full scholarship for 16 people in the world. And Amos was one of them. And he passed that and went to Carnegie Mellon. He said, Dad, because this is a once in a lifetime opportunity to go to Carnegie Mellon, one of the #1 schools in the world in engineering, robotics. You don't even get into that school a lot of times. And at his graduation, he was one of the few Blacks, African Americans who was walking across that stage a few years ago. And I see your son on that same road, man. I see my godson on that same path, man, because we put the time into them. And every day you spend with him is an investment in the future. And my prayer was always make my sons great in society and productive. And I'm a proud dad like you are, bro. Man, we could talk all night. We gotta save stuff for Pic, man.
I tell my son that he's my CEO and CEO of my company, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing because he's actually starting to believe it and giving me orders.
Yeah, man, that's right. And when I go to California, I tell Steven I'm sleeping in your bed. You the Uber man. Now you drive me around to Hollywood. Drive me around Sunset Boulevard. He speeds me, man. I done been all over Hollywood, seen the stars, homes. Beyonce home. We went out there and seen all the rock stars and stuff. So you reap what you sow. And I tell any dad out here today, spend time with your kids. You know, when they grow up, they're going to be out on their own and living their life and living a dream. But you're going to feel good, you know, because you put everything that you got into my godson, man. I'm proud of you, Doc. Hey, we're going to set it down for the night because I'm tired, man. Look, we're going to pick it up in the morning, but everybody got to get in touch with my sidekick, my number one brother on the Pic Network. He is my right-hand man and helping me to get some things done from the seed until the dream. This is the dude right here, y'all. He's the secret behind Pic. Like, if anybody want to get in touch with you, you want to give them some information?
Yeah, I just want to, glad you gave me this opportunity because I just want to announce that I have started a company called Manchester Global Solutions. And, you know, we're doing business development, government relations, helping people get funding, grants. People start their nonprofits, people start their businesses. I met with a friend today and they've been in business for 10 years. He doesn't even have a LLC. He's been operating, you know, as an individual. And I'm just like, man, we got to get you registered so you can accept and understand the benefits of being in business, having a business account and a business articles so you can protect yourself and get the benefits of being in business. So, manchesterglobalsolutions.com, that's my website. And my email is icampbell, ICAMPBELL at manchesterglobalsolutions.com. My cell phone number is 202 300 1258. Go online, book an appointment, call me, schedule an appointment. We do business consultation. We do training. We do life coach. You know, you name it, finance, funding, business development, IT, whatever it is. We have individuals with management consultant background, government relations background, campaigns, PR, IT, you name it, we provide solutions. So it's not something that we can't do. We can always find somebody to get the job done based on what your needs are and support your endeavors to make sure that, you know, we get you to the level that you actually want to get to in life and in business. So with that being said, it's 202 300 1258. As you can see, phone's always on. We up
Right,
and we
I
making it
love you,
happen.
Doc. Hey, we're gonna do another part two on tomorrow and Sunday, Brother Campbell. I want you to talk about tomorrow, the power of your vote. You know, a lot of people think, you know, my vote don't count, man. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. But tomorrow when we get together, I want you to take about 15 to 20 minutes and just talk about it because you've been on Capitol Hill. You're helping some other delegates even now in the voting process. You had someone to call me. I want you to educate us on that. Why is it so important? And I see a lot of young people. I was in line the other day with about 300 people, and I was interviewing them with Pic, and it was their first time voting. So many of them said, "I'm 18. It's the first time I'm voting. 21 is the first time I'm voting." But we're gonna get into that on tomorrow, Doc. You know, the power of your vote. Maybe somebody may be convinced who's watching us right now, you know, to get out there and put their ballot in.
Well, you know, I appreciate that because that is, you know, my specialty, man. And if anybody's at home thinking that their vote don't count, you know, just to think about the impression that one person can have on the world. We currently
Wow.
have a president that have a significant impression on the world because, you know, he's making the decisions. Martin Luther King had significant impressions on the world. To this day, still does. Malcolm X, Gandhi, Garvey. One individual has tremendous power. Exercise your power. If you don't act, you're giving up your power. And
Wow.
you know, that's just sad. So power of the vote, we could be going to it tomorrow. It's love, you know,
We're going to pick it
we'll
up.
discuss it
Hey,
and everything that has to do with local, you know, municipal, presidential, up and down the ballot. We'll talk about all that tomorrow. Look forward to it.
this is the man, y'all. This is a genius. He's a He's a man of knowledge and information, and I love him. You know, we were in the studio. Man, I was just so happy. I called and said, Campbell, come on down here, help me out, man. He zoomed. He was in Baltimore. He zoomed down there and got in the studio, and he just took it to a whole different level. We was talking about helping people and the homeless folk and DC changes and gentrification. It's not too many subjects. I don't know any subject that this man can be in a room and rap on and make it make sense. Because in the midst of this generation, they want to know, do what you say makes sense. Does it make sense? And, you know, I always teach people when I talk with them 5 things: observation, what do I see? Interpretation, what does it say? Correlation, how does it fit? Um, and then application, how does it apply? So kind of deal with those things when I talk to people, man. And it's a blessing to have my brother with me, my side brother, my right-hand man. So I'm going to get some rest, Doc. We're going to pick it up tomorrow, bro. I love you, man.
Doc, I'm just a phone call away, man. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Thank you.